everybody, welcome to the Art of Ring Smoke with Phil Jost. I'm Phil Jost. Let's get started. Hey, we're looking today at a fire that's in Japan, and so this is the first frame. So what's going to happen here is he pulls up, shoots a little bit of video here, and then pulls off, and will be actually be looking at his car and stuff as he parks, gets ready and turns around. And what I'm trying to get across in this is if we look at the reading smoke curriculum, right, point number one is smoke is fuel. And so right now we got our working fire, we got pretty good pressurization. So that's a pretty moderate amount of smoke, looks pretty thick, right? Some turbulence, so a moderate amount of turbulent and moderate density, and the colors in that starting to get in the dark end of the grayscale, and then we see it pushing out from these other areas of the structure right here, and that's just the first read, right? Almost no smoke over here. That's because we have a nice clean mix right at this particular point in time. But this fuel, right, once we get the right temperature, right mix, we get a nice clean burn, and the amount of fuel, the amount of smoke that's left over goes down, and that's what we're going to see here. Learning point two, right, and let's get it started. Learning point two is that rapid fire progress is normal. Right, so he pulls in here, recognizes the smoke is increasing, and the fire has some access to ventilation. Now it's going to take about 30 seconds, and I want you to think about what that fire is going to look like 30 seconds. And understand so smoke is fuel. That's curriculum point number one. Curriculum point number two is rapid fire progress is normal. It's called the new normal, and rapid fire progress is normal. So it's got significantly bigger. He's going to stabilize this video out here in just a second. Then we're going to get a chance to watch the rest of these windows break and watch how quickly this fire has grown in that 30 seconds, and then the next 30 seconds is a significantly bigger fire, significantly more impressive. And what you want to think about when you're arrival. So what are the factors going to occur? I'm going to let it keep going. It's a pretty long video. It's actually a fairly long time before the fire department shows up. There's some other things we're going to take note of here in a second. But so as you're arriving, the two factors you want to think about for a rapid fire growth in a situation like this or similar to this is the fire at or near flashover, which it was when we first pulled up here, and does the fire have access to ventilation, which clearly it does now, right? So even though the fire is much bigger in this last minute and a half, notice that the volume of smoke has actually gone down, not up. This is all thin, black, and fast. Nice clean burn here. So for the amount of fire we got going here, this is not a big column of smoke. There's not a lot of smoke, right? There's thin, black, and fast, which is what we see from a well ventilated fire. Still some, you can see it here pushing out of the side of the it turns out this is a pharmacy, but pushing out of the side. Now there's a couple other things we can look at, right? So rapid fire progress is normal. That's what you should expect. When you pull in and it's going to take you 45 to 60 seconds to be flowing water, you really want to understand what that fire is going to look like at the time that you're ready to start applying water to the seat of the fire. You don't want to get caught off guard and have the wrong size line or have it in the wrong location or those sorts of things, right? So rapid fire progress is normal. Okay, a couple other things. Look at the way the air is being drawn in at the bottom here, right? It looks like it is, right? A whole wall of flame here, but recognize that there's air going in at the bottom, gases coming out of the top. So we do have a neutral plane in here, even though when you look at it visually, it's just a big area of fire. The air is definitely smoking in here at the bottom. You can see it because the flame tips are being dragged back into the building, right? So just when you look at these things like a doorway or a window and it looks like it's all fire, take the extra time to recognize, is there airflow in at the bottom? All right, we want to just sort of be able to think about what that neutral plane's doing, think about what that tells us about what's going on inside the fire building. In this case, this whole space in here is definitely on fire. Air going in at the bottom, hot gases coming out of the top. and a really well established neutral plane. Now they're going to show up here, and I don't want to get too far. I don't want to get into the fire attack. You're welcome to watch the whole video. The link is in the show notes. We're just trying to understand this idea of the reading smoke curriculum, and making sure that we understand that smoke is fuel. That's number one. But rapid fire progress, the new normal, rapid fire progress is normal, right? That's normal. If fires are additive flashover, which this one looks like it is to me, and then if they have access to ventilation, which this does now, and then as these windows break, right? So over a relatively short period of time. Okay, so we're gonna pull off here at roughly, what's it going to be, 7 seconds. And I think we go back, yeah, we'll drop through at this time, and now we're at 30. So it's been 30 seconds since we've seen it before, and we're coming up on here, right? So we're talking about 7 more seconds. We're going to be at 40 seconds, right? So this fire gets significantly bigger in the amount of time it's going to take you if you arrive there to stretch a line, charge the line, get masked up, and get operating. Now, some things can make that faster. Maybe you use the deck gun. You know, maybe you have a really quick deploying, right? Maybe you're going to operate from back here in the street where you don't need to have that SCBA face piece on immediately, right? You'll need it to advance, but you could be out here mid-street level and get some significant water into the space from an area of relatively low risk, and then when you get more help, or when there's somebody else there with a mask on, we can get masked up and we can move in closer. But it's all about understanding what that fire behavior is going to do in the amount of time it's going to take you from the time that you set that parking brake till you're ready to flow water, right? Make sure you have the right weapon in the right spot to attack this fire at that time, not on your arrival, but when you're ready to intervene. All right. So for the Art of Reading Smoke with Phil Jose, I'm Phil Jose. Links are in the show notes here, and thanks for coming to my YouTube page. Please like and subscribe, and also spread the word. Tell some other firefighters about the channel here. There's a lot of good stuff, I think, for you to use, and I really appreciate you being here and checking out my site. Thanks. Bye.